Hello and welcome to Doctor Who Wish World on Second Thoughts. This is the show where I talk about my second viewing of the latest Doctor Who episode. Woke up really early, rewatched it. Basically, you can't change what an episode is, but you can change your attitude towards it. And no matter how much I tried, I couldn't change my attitude towards this episode. And disclaimer, as I said yesterday, I've enjoyed season 2 more than I did season 1 of RTD2. As I've already said, I looked beyond the loony left kind of propaganda and that kind of tug of war they're having with the right wing. I'm on neither side of that argument. But beyond all of that, I've enjoyed season 2 of this. Apparently, this is a revival of the revival. I didn't even know that, and that's why it's called season 1 and season 2. This was supposed to be a revival that introduced new fans to the Doctor, and it simply hasn't worked. They used the Dog God from Classic Who. Now they're using Omega and the Rani. Now, they have shown us a next time clip where the Rani confirms that they are looking to use the body of Omega to recreate Gallifrey. Hardly the most inventive villain plot we've ever seen, but it makes sense. And if I was being honest, I would want the Rani to succeed to rebuild Gallifrey. I think we need a Gallifrey. If I was running Doctor Who, which is my dream to run and produce and play the Doctor, Gallifrey would exist again. We would now and again go back and do Gallifreyan stories like they did in Classic Who. You know how X-Files used to come back and go away from the conspiracy episodes. So, once or twice a season, I'd do Gallifrey stories. Gallifrey should always be there. That's where the Doctor was brought up. It doesn't matter that the Doctor's the timeless child. It's a bit like Superman. He's from Krypton, but he was raised as a human being, so his thought process and his feelings are of a human being. And the Doctor's thought process is of one of a Time Lord, one of a Gallifreyan. So I would even expand the timeless child story. I'd let the Doctor know where they're from, but then I'd have the Doctor say, look, I wasn't raised there. I'm from this planet. I accept that. But I'm always going to be a Time Lord, and I'm always going to be from Gallifrey. I forgive the Time Lords for what they did to me by stealing my DNA. Because I think forgiveness is a very important lesson for kids and young people. And it's something they don't have in modern day entertainment, because the people making modern day entertainment have no forgiveness. And that's where a character like Conrad comes in. He's this straight white guy. He's created this wish world where a woman's place is in the home and all that nonsense. It's so utterly transparent and insulting to anyone with half a brain cell. I may have lost a few brain cells from watching this padding and this filler of an episode. As I said yesterday, as soon as I read the synopsis for Wish World, I knew it was just a waste of time. But looking at this trailer for the actual finale, it looks epic, it looks exciting, it looks climactic, but then so did the trailers for last year's season finale. What was it? Empire of Death? What a title. The Reality War, or Wars, or whatever it is. Sounds exciting. RTD was always one for great titles. The Parting of the Way. What a great title. Emotional. We knew it was a regeneration episode for Eccleston. So we just wanted to see how that was going to play out. And what we don't know about this episode coming up next Saturday, it's around an hour and 10 minutes. By the way, I don't know the ratings for last night's broadcast on BBC One. Next time we do a video, maybe I'll do a video about the ratings. It's a boring subject at this moment in time, but I do feel that Disney haven't made their minds up maybe yet about the future of Doctor Who. I think the reason that RTD keeps on saying to people, watch it, don't go on the internet, beware of spoilers, because if you check the spoilers out, it could stop you from watching it because you may be pissed off at what he's done. I think Disney are really going to count the ratings of the third to last episode, Wish World, and the Reality Wars. I think they're the ones that may swing it for RTD one way or the other. Now, what we don't know is, are Disney happy with their numbers? We know how BBC measure whether Doctor Who should have another season. The BBC don't really look at numbers, or Doctor Who would have been cancelled many years ago, because the numbers have been deteriorating since Tennant and RTD left from his original era. No, it's about distribution deals. It's about merchandise. That's how Doctor Who makes its money. It's about digital box sets. It's about physical box sets. Now, as long as the money's still profitable and good for that, they'll keep on going. So Disney, Disney may be all about how many people are subscribing because of Doctor Who. What numbers is Doctor Who bringing in for the streamer? That's going to be all important. But the BBC will look to keep Doctor Who going. I genuinely believe that. But I do believe we are looking at a 1 to 2 year at most hiatus. I mean, maybe 3 years, but I think 2 years, definitely. Doctor Who's not going to be gone forever. There's too much money in it, in distribution deals, as far as I'm concerned. But back to yesterday's episode. Yeah, listen, there was little Easter eggs. He was trying to connect the dots from the entire season, not just the entire season, but last season. Someone made a great kind of, let's say, theory about Ruby. And they feel that this whole storyline of Wishworld was originally meant for Ruby. Now, apparently, according to a lot of people, Millie and the guys upstairs weren't getting along. Well, the biggest guy upstairs is Russell T Davies and Phil Collinson. And then there's Julie Gardner. Has Millie Gibson been Christopher Eccleston? It wouldn't surprise me. Well, I can tell you that Millie Gibson isn't happy with being sidelined in season 2. No one would. She left Coronation Street for this gig. And even though she's still being paid, it's not about the money. I'm sure she's a wealthy young woman, right? She did well on Coronation Street. Yeah, they don't get Hollywood money, but they still get good money on soaps. Let's not get it twisted. It's not about the wealth. It's not about the money. It's about doing the art. It's about doing the gig. And getting on a show like Doctor Who is very exciting. So if I was cast as a companion on Doctor Who, then I was sidelined. A bit like how Ryan was in the end, which was a shame, because they're all about diversity until they're not, right? Hypocrites, absolute hypocrites, yeah. It's all a bunch of virtue signalling, and they don't mean what they say. I wish they took equality and diversity seriously, but they don't. It's utter BS, and it's exposed every time they try it. And Russell T Davies and Doctor Who are no different. As you all know, Russell T Davies is a creative god to me. What he did by bringing the show back will never be forgotten. And it's my attitude. There's no point rewriting history saying his episodes in RTD1 that he wrote are bad and it's only the other people's episodes that were good just because you don't like him anymore, don't like what he said politically and all that. No. He is a genius. And, RTD2 isn't bad. It isn't good. It just exists. That's how I felt about last season. I felt I got more enjoyment from this season. But watching Wishworld, it was like going back to season 1 of RTD2. And as I say, Conrad is just a loony left writer's, wet dream. He's white, he's straight, he's an arsehole, and that's it. I would like him to be another Captain Jack Harkness who evolves and becomes a better person. Yeah, he's done worse things than Captain Jack did, but I'm about forgiveness and second chances and character evolution, and these people are about propaganda and messaging. It's interesting watching the guy who's meant to be in love with the Doctor in the Hell TV screen. I think, imagine that, swap him for Captain Jack Harkness. Imagine if the message was from Captain Jack Harkness, because I don't care about him. He was, in one episode? I didn't feel the love between him and the Doctor. But the love between Captain Jack and any version of the Doctor would be sensational. And for the people saying, well, he got his todger out when he was working on Doctor Who and Torchwood, don't care. You know, the guy apologised. He was told off by the producers. Julie Gardner said she took him to one side and had a word, and it never happened again. It's done. We're allowed to sin and repent for that sin. I'm not a religious guy, by the way. So, it would have been so good if that was Captain Jack. I expect to see a lot more characters from Doctor Who's past. I mean, we've seen a few already. I do expect to see Jo Martin's Fugitive Doctor. There's been rumours about Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor. I do expect her to come back as well. I don't expect Capaldi. I don't expect Smith, because I just don't think they agree with the direction Doctor Who's gone at. And it was Chibnall who decided he didn't want Capaldi to continue as the Doctor. So there's a few hard feelings there. I don't think Matt's coming back. Matt's proud of what he did, and he's a good friend of Stephen Moffat's, but I don't think he'll be back. I think their attitude is the same as Peter Capaldi's. So even though this episode was filler and padding, and basically it was a time-wasting episode, I still think we could have a very shocking finale. And the big question is, right, beyond what's going on, is will the Doctor have a shock regeneration? Will they do a regeneration? The bright lights come up, but we don't see who the next Doctor is, because they're not going to make that decision. There's been so many rumours about shooting. Are these rumours that RTD has leaked, like the ones where he was leaking that Tennant would be the next full-time Doctor after Jodie Whittaker? He admitted to that. Is he doing the same thing again? I have no idea. All will be revealed next Saturday. And once I've seen it, we're going to talk about it. See you then. Well, you'll see me sooner than that, because we'll be talking about DC and the DCU and Superman today and all next week. And I'm looking forward to doing that review on the movie once it's released. We're going to go all in on Superman here on Movies TV Mad.